Hey, sis.
Hey, sis. Hey, Daddy.
Happy Father's Day.
Hey, sisters.
Hey, Daddy. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Very excited to have you here. Year number
Thank you.
2 of the podcast to celebrate you and all the dads out there. We give a lot of attention to moms on this podcast. So we got to
What do you
give.
mean? What do you mean I'm number 2?
The second year you've been on, meaning
Oh, I thought that
year
was a
number 2.
derogatory statement you were making about me.
Well, we do have a lot of dads. You know, we've got your husband, we've got mom's husband. There's a lot of, but you're still number 1.
Yes.
Yep.
Always
True.
will be.
And then when we enter into our throuple, you'll have another one.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Just laying some groundwork.
Yeah, good.
That's just silly. You're just too silly, Daddy.
Unfortunately, aren't you going to be in Cannes for Father's Day?
We will actually be celebrating together.
That's right.
No,
and we will be in Cannes or Monte Carlo.
Ooh, the world is our oyster.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Well, I'll be sending Father's Day vibes from Los Angeles. It's okay. Having soup for one.
Not quite.
Maybe we should take
exciting.
a cardboard cutout of course that we could just set at the table.
A flat Courtney.
A flat Courtney.
Yeah, a flat Courtney.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. I love this idea.
Only if I get to ride first class on the airplane.
You do.
Business.
You just have to share a lay flat with me.
Oh, brother.
All I know is there'll probably be lots of rosé involved. And again, I'll just be here.
Oh, yeah. Rosé all day. Yeah.
Next year, Court. Next year.
There's always next year. Next year.
Yep.
Yeah. While our husbands work.
Yeah.
Well, that's one hell of a Father's Day. There should be no complaining over there.
No, no complaints from me.
That's a step up from the horse races that we used to do back in the day when we used to go horse betting, which was really fun. And I'd love to do that again. But
me too. That was fun. I was actually looking it up in Dallas because they have a horse track here in Grand Prairie. And I thought, that'd be fun to go do sometime.
That was
so many of our favorite activities with Dad revolve around gambling, Vegas, horse racing, he's taught us how to be good little gamblers.
It's all kind of shaky and under the table. And,
You taught me on toothpicks. I remember it'd be a bunch of rainy afternoons in Dallas. You'd get toothpicks and sit with me and teach me how to play blackjack.
Oh my gosh.
I remember us driving, I guess, from Dallas to LA, stopping in Vegas, and I was giving you tests in the car with the deck of cards as I was driving.
Yes, you were. And I'm so bad at math. What are you going to do if you have an 8 and a 7? Oh, is that 17, 13? Oh God, no, 15. Okay, 15. You mostly you hold there, I got to brush up. I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, actually.
Oh, geez. You better get one of those little cheat
cards. Yeah.
I think I might play roulette this time, you guys. I was at a casino party a few weeks ago and I just crushed it at roulette. I mean, I was killing it. So I don't know if that was beginner's luck, but I don't know. I might throw a little bit down on
on red or
black or odd or even. I don't know.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Does sound fun.
Well, anyway, we got to get on to our dads.
Yes,
this is where we've taken a detour here.
We do. Okay. So like we did for Mother's Day, I have pulled some fun clips from pretty much last year of dad stories. Some we have heard and some we have not that we've saved.
Yeah, and we should let our audience know. I mean, our regulars know, but we usually we highlight the funny mom stories, but occasionally we get some really good dad stories in there. So we thought Dad could help us break them down.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, while I still have a bit of a memory, you mean?
Oh.
Well, they're about other dads too, not just you, our dad.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to kick it off with, this one is actually from season 2 from Sis and Tell, our fellow podcasters, Amanda and Allison.
They were funny.
Funny story about Daddy. They call theirs Daddy too.
I know listening to your podcast, your dad was the cleaner to do the dishes.
He's exactly he's a little type A too. And one time I was like, I don't know if it was college or high school, but I would remember being alone with my parents at the kitchen table and we were eating breakfast. And he comes and he snatches a knife out of my hand and puts it in the dishwasher. And I'm like, what? And she's like, Milton, we're still eating. He's like, well, I have to wash the dishes. She goes, you can wait.
He knew that once everything was cleared off, he got to have his dessert. And dessert was pudding pops. And so
pudding pops?
That's
such a Southern thing.
And so it was those Jello pudding pops.
Yeah.
It was like a popsicle.
Yeah.
And so we knew Daddy needed his pudding pop so he could go sit on the couch and watch TV. And it was the same thing. Like you had to basically physically protect everything around you that you wanted to stay at the table. Because once he was done, everything left. The salt, the pepper, the ketchup, your fork, your water glass, your plate, everything. You had to, whatever you weren't touching was fair game for him to remove. And so
I would also like to say he also liked just chocolate pudding, like Jello chocolate pudding. He would make chocolate pudding in like this big saucepan, and he'd put the pudding in parfait glasses also, but then he would leave like 2 inches of pudding in the saucepan, and he'd go sit on the couch and tuck a napkin into the couch with like a wooden spoon. And he's like,
eat it right out of
he's like a 10-year-old with food.
Oh my God.
His eating habits to this day are still, it drives my mom crazy that he just likes meat and potatoes.
Oh, he eats everything. He jokes that he was grocery shopping. We were far out of the house at this point. And he's like buying bagels and cream cheese and peanut butter and ice cream and probably
fun-sized chocolate bars.
Right. Like all this stuff. And
corned beef hash, canned corned beef hash.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Disgusting.
So gross.
And the woman looked at him and assumed he was divorced and said, oh, do you have the kids this weekend? And he went, so went over his head. He goes, no, this is for me. She went, oh, okay.
That is so funny.
It sparks a memory for me with Dad, kind of. I do think that I feel like you were pretty dessert focused too after dinner. There was a time, and I feel like it was either you would have like butter pecan ice cream or something, maybe Bluebell from the freezer. But then there was also, I felt like, correct me if I'm wrong, did you like hide chocolates up high in like a cabinet above the, you don't remember that? Above
maybe
oven?
Because I would want to hoard those for myself.
Yes.
And keep them out of reach of you children.
Yes. I feel like there was
something
some
about
this.
I feel like there was some chocolate hiding going on that we couldn't read because we're short, so we couldn't reach
kind of
up
chocolate
there.
would it be?
I was only thinking about your well-being and health, and so that you wouldn't eat too much candy, and that's why they were hidden.
I think they were like those dark chocolate bars that he still keeps today at his house that he
Those
gives to
little
my
nuggets.
kids when they come over. Yeah.
You open our refrigerator, and there's always one of those variety packs of Hershey not Kisses, but the little wrapped
the ones you give out
thing.
at Halloween. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, we get them at Costco. We keep one in the freezer, one in the refrigerator. And so I love when Courtney's girls come over, is that they run right to my refrigerator and open that door and stick their hand in that bag, and they can have as many as they want.
Now, why
like
one
that
in
nugget.
the freezer and one in the refrigerator? Do you like one day you might feel more like just a more frozen chocolate, and one you want a little more of a
it's all part of this. It's all part of the stocking process. You put the future bars in the freezer, preserve them, and then you only have to just drop down one door, and you're in the refrigerator for them.
So it's efficiency. Because I mean, some people do like a frozen chocolate bar. That's not bad.
I like it too, but those are a little thick to try to, eat frozen for me. Refrigerator does it. You get a nice firmness. But that clip you just played, it reminded me of something too. So the minute she said he grabbed a knife out of her hand, that triggered a lot of fear and anxiety in me. Because since you guys were little, and maybe I've talked about this before on the podcast, but or maybe you have, but I have a great fear of children and knives. It just doesn't seem right. It's very scary, and a slip could cut off a finger.
Yeah.
So I never wanted you guys to really have knives at the dinner table. And so I would do, as I recall, some prep work, which is cutting the steak or cutting the chicken.
No, it'd be more like that is your rose-colored glasses version. Ours is like, give me that. You're going to cut yourself and like rip it out of our hands. And then you cut it yourself. We're like 18 years old. You're like, give me that, you know?
Just wait 1 second. I want to see both of you hold your hands up. How many fingers do you have? All of them is my answer.
Yeah, right.
That might be a whole other podcast of unpacking that one.
Exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
That's a great clip.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, let's move on to our next one. Here we go. This is from the Shaws, Lindsay and Jason and Colin Shaw, talking about their daddy.
We've discussed this a little bit, but we know your dad was notorious for having a camcorder attached to his hand at all times, which probably meant your mom was on the other end of the lens a lot of the time. So tell us about one particular incident in Steamboat, Lindsay.
As you said, Dad always had the video camera, and I mean, he would rather be doing that than partake in whatever activity was going on or dinner or whatever it was. And so they had taken us to Steamboat, and I don't know, I was maybe around 11 or 12 years old, and Mom this was maybe the second time that she had ever skied in her life. And
she was no athlete. Let's not sugarcoat it.
But she is now.
Back then, she was not.
She just hadn't been skiing much, you know. And so, Dad is our dad is on the side of the mountain. And first off, Mom and I had ridden up in the ski lift, and I just thought it would be funny to like clank my skis together, and one of them just fell off. And so Mom's like, "Oh, that's perfect." And so that was when. So then, you know, she's having to walk down, and so Dad's commenting about, "Oh, well, I guess Susan's walking down to get her ski." And then in the next scene, you see, you know, I've gotten my ski back, and then, you know, Mom's kind of in front of me, and then all of a sudden she just runs into, kind of slowly, I mean, it was a green for sure, like runs into a woman.
Takes her out.
And takes her out, you know, and excuse me. I mean, just so polite as always and everything. She runs into her. And then she just kind of eats it and is lying there. And so I'm there, and I'm just taking ski school. And so I really know what I'm doing. Yeah. And so I'm trying to, you know, kind of help her up. Dad's over there with the video camera saying like, Lindsay, move out of the way, like this.
He's close enough that you can y'all can hear him.
We can
so
hear him.
It's not like y'all are up the mountain.
He probably have taken 5 steps and just lifted Mom up. He wasn't going to, because we wouldn't have that video. Yeah.
Right. He wanted to see her struggle.
So I mean, this
drama.
went on, gosh, I don't know, for like at least a minute and a half or 2 minutes, which is a long time when you are easy. Right. So, you know, she keeps, and then she just kind of can't get up, and he keeps just kind of barking at both of us until finally my mom just says like, "Randall, turn off that fucking camera." And then on to
he knew when he went too far.
Yeah.
11-year-old or however old you were, did you know that he was asking you to move out of the way so that he could get a better angle of her struggling to get up? I mean, this guy was something else, ahead of his time.
Yes, I would have known that if I was 5 years old.
I think your dad and Kris Jenner would have been really good friends. Like, I feel like they could have come up with something big.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God. I mean, he could be an Ashley. I mean, with that sick sense of humor. Like,
I know.
Absolutely.
I just see Dad doing that too.
I mean, we've had our fair share of pranks with the video cameras as well.
I think we've told this before too, but so I'll make it fast. The funniest for Courtney and I use of the video camera dates back to the
Well, that was
early
actually going to be my next clip.
Oh.
All right. Well, we'll save it then. But I mean,
let's do it. This was more of Dad and Courtney also behind the camera.
Yeah.
Much like Daddy Shaw.
Just a different twist on a sick joke.
Maybe a little meaner.
So one of our family traditions was to go to Hawaii on Christmas. So we were on a trip, and most of the group wanted to go on a whale watch. And so for whatever reason, Courtney and I stayed back at the condo. And
you were having a really bad back episode, and I didn't want you to be alone because I was so sweet.
That's sweet.
And and the whale watch thing was on one of those bouncy catamarans. So we stayed back, and so I should say we'd been there several days. We hadn't seen a single whale, outside our condo. So the rest of the group, another family we were with, and Margaret, the girl's mom, and Whitney all go on the whale watch, and it lasts for hours. They're gone for a long time. So Courtney and I get a little bored with, being at the condo by ourselves and stuff. So we think, wouldn't it be funny? Back then, everybody had a little camcorder. We didn't all have iPhones. We had camcorders. So Courtney and I, we took a camcorder and we put cellophane over the lens of it to blur it out. And then we staged this whole fake whale colony that was happening in front of the condo. So we did this whole act where you go, Court, look. Oh my God.
Here, I'm getting the camera. Here, hold it. Yeah. Hold on, here they are. There they are. Oh my God. There's like 8 of them. Oh my God, they're breaching. Is that a baby?
I wish they were here to see this. This is amazing.
I've never seen so many.
They're
crazy.
They're jumping.
Get to the reveal.
They're competing. Anyway.
So, and they come home all deflated and sunburned and mad because they didn't see any whales. And we said, guys, and the dad that we were with was like super intense about, he had like the biggest boner over wanting to see whales. It was like this anal comes to mind. So he gets there, they all get back. And we say, they're all mad that they didn't see any whales. And we said, well, guys, we're sorry, but guess what? We actually did see whales here. What? Where? Like right off the balcony, right off the lanai today. It was so weird.
Just right before you came in. Oh, God. You could plug your camcorder, into your television set to project it, right, or to see it. So go ahead, Court.
No, and so we plugged it in, and we sit back, and you see just a blurred TV, but you can hear us going, oh my God, look, oh my God, how many do you think there are? 8, 9? I don't even know. And they're like, what? And then the dad.
They're like mad at us because we didn't get the shot. What did you do? Did you put your hand over there?
Well, and Dad's production was pretty good back then. So, even though they put the cellophane on the camera, you can still see light coming in. And so you're like,
Yeah, you think there's like the hope that you're going to see something that's going to click. And then I remember like the other dad like gets on his hands and knees and he goes up to the TV and he starts like messing with it, trying to see if he can get it to focus. Oh my God. And then at that point we felt so bad because they were all they're getting their panties in a wad of it. So we had
laughing.
I was about speaking of panties, were you peeing yours?
Yes.
I probably was out of laughter.
We started laughing. And when we started laughing, they figured out they had been
duped.
Yeah.
I don't think they spoke to us.
I don't think they spoke to us really for 2 days. So mad. About 5 minutes of hilarity among us.
And hours and hours of laughter year after year because of it. So one of my fondest. That was good work.
It was
that was good work, Dad. That was good work. I'm still crying over it. I laugh so hard every time. I just wonder, like, how on earth did we come up with that? What a seriously freaking trick, but hilarious. Oh my God.
It was good. It was good.
That goes down as just like one of the best pranks of all time.
The fact that we brought a whole other family into it too.
Yeah, exactly. And when I'm just like trying to go back all those years and think, because I must have been in junior high or something. Oh, let's get cellophane. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's crumple it up. How does that look? And like figuring out how we're going to orchestrate this prank.
12.
Oh God. That was just the best. You must have been the mastermind behind that. That definitely has your signature all over it.
I'm sure I was.
Makes me want to start pranking more,
We really should get pranked in a while.
That was
pranking.
Fun,
it's very satisfying as the prankster.
Yes, it really is.
Really satisfying.
Well, we should talk offline about coming up with some.
Yeah,
we should do some summer pranks.
Yeah.
Summer's here. Let's do some summer pranks.
Let's do that. I think we should bring pranking back. Daddy, maybe we can get some pranking done in France.
Oh, I bet so. I bet we can.
Sure, y'all can come up with something.
Well, between that video and the Shaws, I mean, we got some funny dads out there. I swear,
there are some funny dads out there.
So
yeah, some of us push the line a little harder.
Those the best kind.
Well,
I love a dad with a sick sense of humor.
Amen.
With a good sense of humor.
And I'm proud that I passed that on.
Thank you.
That's genetic, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's a trait that I proudly possess.
Yeah, like we always say.
Cynicism, sarcasm.
Yeah.
You know,
with a
humor.
side of mean.
All right. Well, now we're going to hear from identical twin sisters, Emily and Mary Bechet, about their dad and the sex talk.
Well, it never ceases to amaze us just how very few parents, including ours, ever have that sex talk with their kids. And Emily, was Mary Rita open with you about sex?
I think she said to my dad, go deal with it. And I think she washed the floors or something.
Oh my God. We were talking about it. Your dad gave you the sex talk?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She didn't sit you girls down and have the conversation.
No. He read us a book.
But thank God we had it together, right? Like, because that would have been even weirder.
Yeah, but we already knew about it when he told us.
All right. You know what I'm going to ask? At what age? Oh, our cousins told us first.
We were really little when our cousins told us.
Like, was it like fourth grade?
When our cousins told us?
No, when Dad sat us down.
Yeah. I mean, it started with like a chicken.
Yeah. It was like, what? An animal book. But then the weirdest part about the whole thing, right? And you're going to agree with me. Do you remember this part?
I don't know.
Not to go into science, but he wanted to explain how we're twins and how the egg splits for identical twins.
Oh my God.
So it's fraternal. I mean, he like loves science. So it's like, that's how he's kind of explaining it to make it like less awkward for him, I think.
Right.
So he takes out men's dress socks. No joke. And he like separates the pair of the dress socks and he like makes them look like eggs or I don't know what he was doing. We were so disturbed by his whole explanation with dress socks and the whole thing.
Yeah. He always likes visuals. He likes.
We don't need it. All I want to be like is, Mom, how could you do that? How could you make Dad tell us? Like, so uncomfortable.
Oh God.
I wonder how he came up with that.
I don't know, but it kind of makes sense. Like if the sock was one egg and it splits, then because when you fold a sock, it can look like an egg. That's where my mind goes with it.
Right.
We talked about it multiple times how we did not get the sex talk and that I think we were sent to church. But I'll never forget, like Mom was out of town or something, but Daddy and I went to Maggiano's for dinner and we're sitting there and like it wasn't
Dad gave you the sex talk?
No, it wasn't a sex talk. Like it was in high school, you know? And he was like, boys are just they're always after one thing, Whitney.
It's true. It's true. It's good, Daddy.
Like,
protective Daddy.
Dad. It was so funny, though.
I think I told you both you were adopted so I could avoid the sex talk.
I thought that was just another mean prank you were playing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You did used to tell me that me and Amy, my cousin, were twins that you and Karen separated at birth.
Ew.
I know. Another mean
really
prank.
Wrong.
I know.
Just wrong.
I mean, I think that was just like a few hours.
Basically, it boils down to your entire childhoods were upside down. Mm-hmm. Everything that was right was wrong or wrong was right. And I like to mix things up. Yeah.
All making sense.
Two adult pranksters.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to Rachel and Ben Cook and how they tell us about how their dad really liked to set the mood at the dinner table.
So Dad's record collection numbered in the thousands, right? And a lot of these, to be clear, were purchased en masse at garage sales, but he had everything. He had everything. He had all the jazz greats. He had all the classic rock. He had the hottest hits of the 80s. I think Mom's favorite was it the Nylons?
The Nylons, yes.
They were like an 80s cover band.
Yes.
I was like, this band has so many good songs. They were a cover band.
But you know what? That's beautiful. You have this amazing home cooked meal, this incredible music, important music. It sounds like
it was good music.
But for one thing, which is that, the nature of vinyl, and as I've become a hipster middle-aged guy myself, like getting into vinyl, it's like you're up every 15, 20 minutes. Like, well, I gotta flip the record.
Right.
And Dad would spend half the dinner gone because he's like trying to.
So he didn't have a playlist.
Oh no,
a vinyl playlist.
No.
There's no playlist.
He wasn't like, okay, these are the 5 albums we're listening to.
He's like, Lionel Richie is the first.
We're gonna move into some Chris Christopherson.
Yes.
And the whole thing, really to set the stage, is, as Rachel mentioned, dark because Dad would set the dinner table like we were at a fancy French restaurant with the light. Yeah, that was his idea of class.
Did you have
it was candles,
the dimmers, the dimmer.
We had it. There was dimmer.
Oh. Dimmered down.
The the chandelier, but the
light fixture.
The light fixture in the center
was glass chandelier
that was made by our mom's dad, our Paw Paw.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah.
That's really
cool. It was a pattern of a Tiffany lamp, beautifully done. Where is it? We'll get back to that.
You gotta find that. You gotta find that shit.
But yeah, my dad liked it so dark. He thought it was like classy, right?
Right.
He was like
eating at a fancy restaurant.
like at the fanciest restaurant. And I remember our mom all the time going, "Tom, stop it!" She would come back from getting the record, slightly dim the lights even further. She goes, "Tom, stop it! I can't see the food."
Progressively dimmer as dinner went dark.
If you ever had a cat that you didn't want to sit on you and you put it to the side and it would just creep onto your lap again, that was Dad and the dimmer switch.
Yes.
He was just forever like you'd put it back up and he'd wait a moment and you weren't paying attention, then he'd just dim it down.
Oh my God, I love it.
That's hilarious.
He's such a
oh my God.
I love that story. That is so cute.
Funny. Oh my God. Dimmer down.
Yeah.
I don't remember a dimmer at our dinner table.
I don't either. But I like the way he emphasized the ambiance and how that affects the whole evening, the mood.
Yes. He created a vibe.
Yeah, right there in his breakfast room or dining room.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
with the vinyl.
Cool.
That's so
and
fun.
playing cool music, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you taught us all kind of cool. You had cool records too. You had the greats. We just didn't listen to them at dinner.
Right. Yeah.
Should have.
No, we should have. But I feel like our playlist would have been like the Bee Gees, the White Album. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We listen to our vinyl sometimes during dinner. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this bad boy up with one more story from Dad's episode. And it goes all back to pranking, Daddy. Really does.
Oh, boy.
Of course.
I live to prank.
Said your dad had a lot of pranks. Like, what were some of the things that he did growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, and he used to chase the ambulances too. If we had an emergency or heard a siren, he would load the car up. If we had friends over, they could go too. So he had to chase.
Okay, but here to me, this is the primo, and I'm very proud to have carried on and continue to carry on this tradition that our dad created. So it's a special time of year, the happiest time of year. It's the Christmas holidays. The streets are decorated, and all the neighborhoods have lights up and beautiful, displays in the yard and all that. So we would go, as most families did in the 60s, we'd pile in the car and go look at Christmas lights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what my dad would do. We'd drive along, and if in the backseat we'd see like a little Santa Claus coming up or something, we'd go, "Oh, Dad, pull up the Santa Claus." He would hit the gas and go screaming past Santa Claus. Not stop. He would hit the gas, so we would miss it. And so we'd all be like, "Oh, Dad!" Just keep going. And then what he'd do is he'd find the one house on the street that had nothing, or maybe just like one red light. And he'd pull up and screech to a stop. And we have to sit there and look at the one red light.
I remember him saying, "Oh, just wait. There's a better one down the street." Y'all just wait. Now, don't get upset. There's another one right around the corner.
Oh, and so I did. You guys know. So I carried on that with you guys too.
Boy, and I have carried it on with my children.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That sort of explains your dad to you, doesn't it? Like, I mean, if
where the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
If you're raised in that mean an environment, it's going to affect you. You're gonna.
But I'd forgotten the comment about ambulance chasing. So what was that? So he would an ambulance would be in the neighborhood and you just load everybody in the car and follow it to see where the tragedy was?
Well, listen, when John F. Kennedy was shot in Dallas, I was like 11, 12 years old.
Yep.
And, that was a crazy weekend when that happened. And it's just unbelievable. And I guess my dad was listening, your papa was listening to TV or radio or something, and he heard that Lee Harvey Oswald, the assassin, was being moved from one jail to the other in downtown Dallas. And he said, "Get in the car, we're going." And so he and I got in the car and we went down to the jail where I can't remember, but to the place where he was being moved to, right? Because, maybe we could see him, or maybe we could see the FBI or whatever. It was just all this excitement and energy. And,
what did you see?
Well, we got there, and if you recall, that's when Lee Harvey Oswald was shot by Jack Ruby.
Right.
In that being moved from one jail to the other.
Coming out of,
Yeah. So we were where he was going at that jail. And so we hear from the cops, "Oh my God, there's been a shooting at the other jail," because he was shot at the original jail coming out. So my dad goes, "Parkland." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Parkland." And so we jumped in the car and went to Parkland Hospital. This goes on to see, maybe we can see him coming in from the shooting, right?
Wow. Yeah. I've never heard this story before.
And did you?
No, we got to Parkland. There were a million cops. And
this this actually explains a lot about you, a lot about your obsession with murder, death, kill.
Yes.
Your adrenaline high, because that is all from your childhood. I mean, interesting.
Well, and then the last chapter of that was so Jack Ruby, who shot Lee Harvey Oswald, he went on trial in Dallas, right? And somehow, I don't remember the circumstances, but somehow I ended up, maybe, I don't know if my dad was involved, but on the courthouse steps when that verdict was announced. And so I ended up being seen on local TV news on the steps of the courthouse.
Oh my God.
And there's some book about the assassination that shows me as a little kid standing on the steps.
Really?
Next to whoever, Mr. Wade or whoever was the Dallas prosecutor at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you getting any residuals from that book?
No.
What book is it? We got to find that book.
Actually.
I know.
I don't know.
Your dad had to have been there. I'm sure you were there because he was there. Probably took you there or something.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get on a bus and to go downtown.
Wow. God, if he'd only lived long enough for reality TV, wouldn't he be a junkie?
Ooh.
Oh boy, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Gosh, what a adrenaline junkie. That is fascinating. All of
it
it
is.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's wrapping up Father's Day on a really interesting note. All right. Well,
this has been fun and funny.
Yeah, it has been all of the above.
I loved all those dads on there. And
those are some great stories.
Yeah. Happy really Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yeah.
And I guess I should say to the two of you, bon voyage. Au revoir.
Oui, oui.
Yeah.
Oui, oui. That's all I really know.
Well, you're not going to get very far.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to point to things.
Yeah.
They all speak English and can.
Bouteille de vin means bottle of wine. So
that's all I need to know.
There you go.
All right. Well, happy Father's Day, Daddy. I will.
Thank you, ladies.
Happy Father's Day. Love you so much.
Love you back so much. And thanks for inviting me on the show today. It was fun.
Yeah. Sister? All right. I love you. I love your show, Court.
Love you. Love your show.